Mom, what are we doing? What are we doing?
We are
behind the mics.
Our first
podcast. So we decided, me and Mom, we love to talk. Of course, we have our own platforms, but we're just coming together as mother and daughter to have a really fun, engaging conversation with you all. Of course, we're still trying to work everything out, the name, everything. So we just want to try it out. And we just wanted to see we wanted to see how everything would go. But today we wanted to talk about something that I think most people consider, but not always. We want to talk about something that if you don't consider always, maybe you should, because it is a part of your personal growth. We're talking about self-awareness. And every September the 28th of each year, it's Self-Awareness Day, and was National Self-Awareness Day. And this day is for us just to recognize who we are as individuals, what makes us, what makes you you. Yeah. What motivates you, what drives you, and really just your characteristics, your ambitions, and also the things that you can work on. So it's not only the things that are working well for you, which you definitely want to be aware of, because that's going to help you continue to grow. It's going to help you be positively impact others, but also the things that you need to do that will help you improve overall. Nobody is perfect, okay? Nobody is perfect. And when you have the opportunity to do the self-awareness, the self-reflection, and just think about it, there are some things that we can always work on. So that's what we're talking about today, is self-awareness. Yay. Yes. So what do you think about self-awareness, Mom? And we wrote down some notes too, y'all.
Yes, self-awareness is who you are. Mm-hmm. It's not what someone perceives you to be, it's who you are. Mm-hmm. Because when it comes to self-awareness, you all, we need to make sure we know ourselves. Mm-hmm. Because I always say, you know yourself better than anyone else. Whether we admit it or not, we know ourselves better than the next person.
Yes.
And with knowing that, we need to be aware of the things that make us who we are. We also need to be aware of the things that we feel that we fall short on. Mm-hmm. That's preventing us from being our very best self.
Yes.
So it's just mainly being aware of yourself. Mm-hmm. Know who you are.
And sometimes that can be a struggle for people, and I would say it can be a struggle because it can be based on different aspects of somebody's life, how they were raised, what's happened to them throughout their lives. Sometimes people have compartmentalized different things that has happened in their life. Maybe they've had something that's really broken their heart, something that's really made them happy, or even past trauma, and that has impacted their growth significantly as a person, socially, mentally, emotionally. And those things, they need to be addressed. They need to be handled in their own way. And there's some things that just come up out of the blue. I know for me, I live with a chronic illness. I have multiple chronic illnesses. And so I did not grow up going to the hospital. I was a very healthy child. I was very active. Now, I ate a lot of sweets. Baba didn't know, because she was in school and nursing school and stuff, and so she didn't know. So yeah, Dad was just, he would sneak us treats and things that we shouldn't eat, but we loved it though. But I tell you, with that being said, when I transitioned into college and adulthood, young adulthood, and diagnosed with multiple sclerosis and other what do you call it, comorbidities, that really impacted how I seen myself. I was very self-aware. I had an idea of who I was, but I know for me, I don't know about anybody else, but that brought off the very worst in me. That brought out, I was a little nasty something, I'll tell you. But I thank God. We're very, we're spiritual people. We believe in God. We're Christian faith. We're of the Christian faith. And that's what has sustained us for many years. And I'm glad it has. But whatever is going to help you in your moment and help you grow, then do that. Anything that's positive. We're having positive vibes over here, y'all.
We're having positive vibes.
Yes. Right. So what other things did you have to talk about?
Okay, since we're all talking about, how do you know that you are self-aware? And we all have already touched on that. Likely, a lot. And what we stated before, evaluate yourself.
Yes.
You need to know who you are. You need to manage your emotions. A lot of times our emotions just get out of check, get out of whack. I always say that you cannot be led and you cannot grow if you cannot get your emotions in check, you all. Emotions have a tendency to just blindside us, and the things that you would do, could do, or that's coming your way, you will not get those things because your emotions have taken over, and you just see things for the moment. It doesn't matter what maybe is going to happen down the road or the next day or the next moment. You're just so mad, so frustrated, and you want to somehow to release that, and it's not a good thing. But also too, look at your values. You have to look at your values. You have to understand those. I think when it comes to self-awareness, we just have to, look at the whole picture. You might even have to go back and do some soul searching. I know for sure we need to do a lot of reflecting. But also too, talk with people that that know you, not in a negative way. If they're going to say something, make sure it's in a positive way, or they can spin it so it's in a positive way. Because what you're really trying to find out, you're trying to see what you still need to do to be your best self. So if there might be things that you didn't know about yourself, others might know. So talk to the ones that I say the positive, people. Because we do have some people that come in our lives. We do have some friends. We do have some associates. We do have people that are not positive. I think you can probably tell a person anything you want to tell them. It's just the way you tell them. But if you bring it to them in a positive light, then I think they can receive it better than if you just come out and just put it out there.
I agree, but my mother, I'm telling y'all, my mother, she look, don't let this like decor fool you all. She is a country lady, and she gives it to you like it is. I know she said things to her friends and associates and family members, and it's just like she says it in love, but she says what she says and she means what she means. It is really like constructive criticism, but it is needed. And I have gotten offended a lot of times.
Right, because I had to give it to Sierra straight too.
Yes, child, girl, she would eat me up. Mom, you been eating me up, girl. But I would say, how did you get to know who you are? Because I've been like this for years now, but especially getting into my 30s. How did you get to know who you were?
It came up with knowing my values, things I values, goals I wanted to attain, people that I was around, I always try to, I guess, align myself with people that I knew that might be of like spirits. Okay. I'm always trying to align myself with people that were positive, and I knew they wanted something better just like I did, but they wanted a better self of themselves, if that makes sense. So I always tried to do that, and a lot of times I have always tried to in the past, and I see it do it now. I try to reflect on the things that I might have done that I might could have done better, or when it comes to talking to people that I know, I always trying to see the best in them, and I will tell you quickly, I will continue to see the best in a person, regardless of what I might see on the outside, because I know inside there's something and there's someone better. But I did a lot of that, and of course I came up with sort of like a strict, upcoming.
Yes.
But I wasn't quite as strict on my children as things were for me. But I just knew that I wanted something better. I would say, I can't say, well, when it came to me, I'm a person, I don't drink, I don't smoke. It's not my thing. I can't condone other people who do that or want to do that. It just wasn't for me.
Yeah, can't condemn.
So I think with that being for me, it made me to be like a little bit more level-headed, because that was the way I looked at things. And this is only speaking for me, you all. I cannot speak for anyone else. I had a lot of responsibility growing up. I know a lot of times now, and I'm guilty of it too, that when my children came up, responsibility and things that I did, they didn't have to do that. So things were totally different. So I think it comes with responsibility, and a lot of times they did have chores and things that they had to do, and a lot of times you just can't give your kids everything they want.
Yes.
Because it's not going to pan out in the end. They need to know that they need to get out there and work for some things. You can't, have everything, because everything that you get is not always good. So you have to work for things. You have to earn things. You also have to earn people respect. And you earn that from the beginning from being respectful towards others.
Yes, ma'am. But I learned a lot. And as you're speaking, Mom, we have our teas. So you can continue on. What tea do we have today?
We have kiwi. What's it called? Kiwi?
Kiwi green tea. Yes.
So this is something that I think, you probably say, oh, I've never heard of kiwi green tea.
Move this mic.
We're going to see how it is. And I will say, too, there's just a lot of things that we need to be aware of. Ooh, it looks good. Looks good, and it's hot. And when it comes to being more aware, and some things that you can do to become more aware for self-awareness. Now, Sierra is going to talk to you all about practicing mindfulness and meditation, or mindfulness. So I won't hit on that. But when I was coming up, and all through the time that I say my younger self, I used to journal quite a bit, you all. I used to journal. And that really helped me, I guess, to be more of who I am today. And it was a big thing. And then doing a lot of self-reflection, that was wonderful too. So I'm going to let Sierra talk to you, And I'm going to just put a little sugar here in my tea here.
Yes. So when it comes to, we was talking about mindfulness, and you said you would do journaling.
That was my thing.
Yes.
It was my thing.
I can say, and let me know when you're ready to taste test. Are you ready to taste test the tea? Okay, y'all. So,
yes,
we do know with each podcast, we're always going to try a different tea. And if the tea is delicious, we may have some repeats, okay?
Oh, yes.
Yes. Cheers.
That's our little thing. We always say cheers.
Yes.
That's
wow.
Good. Kiwi green tea, you all.
I like the richness of it. Y'all, this is a side break. I like the richness of it. It has like a little hint of fruitiness to it. That's really good.
It's really good. Now, since we had the tea, we're going to get back to talking.
Yes.
This discussion with you all.
I would say I did not really learn about journaling until, we'll put it like this. My background's in social work, okay? And I went to school and I was trained on psychotherapy, mindfulness, so forth, the different therapy techniques for a clinical social worker, because at the time, that's what I wanted to do career-wise. So I do know about it. I am familiar with it, but I have to be honest about it. The close thing that I came for mindfulness for me was just saying a prayer and maybe walking. But I would say be intentional. I think that's one thing about having self-awareness is truly being intentional. And that's something that mindfulness is about, being intentional, being present in the moment, and being deliberate about your actions. And so, I mean, I hate to continue to go back to my MS journey, but it's a part of my personal growth and development. But when I would say that was pretty traumatic for me because of what happened, and losing my ability to walk, to eat, all those things. I would say at a prime age of 25 and 26, it was very difficult. And my mother will often tell me that I needed to just, of course, pray, meditate, but I also needed to start journaling because it was to a point I got so overwhelmed with my life and how things were going.
That's true.
It was hard for me to respond to anything. And my mother was trying to find the best way she could help me, not only as, I would say, not only as my mother, but as a caregiver. Yes. And because I didn't know how to express what I really needed and how I felt. Through the journaling, under the oak tree and prayer meditation, I say that I had an awakening, and I started realizing, I'm like, hey, this happened today. I just started going by day by day. So I maybe took like 5, 10, 15 minutes. Sometimes I took longer than that. And I just reflected on my day, what happened, what symptoms was I going through. What I could have improved on, what I like, what I look forward to looking to. And then it started getting to the point where I really wanted to start helping people, and started doing write-ins and encouragement, and showed it to my mom, and the rest is history. But that was very intentional. Also, mindfulness walking, self-meditation, walking, that was a big part of what I was doing, because that's how I fell in love with nature. Now, my mother, growing up as a sharecropper in the 60s, yes, in Eastern North Carolina, I didn't, I grew up in the county, and, but it wasn't to the extent where I actually had to, do it for a living like my mother and her family did. But so I did learn how to garden at a young age, but I really didn't get into it like that. But I do know the skills and techniques. But I started looking at nature differently, and I was like, Lord, if you're going to talk with me, I need to see it in nature. And all these things popped up. He would give me analogies of the trees and just simple blades of grass, and just how the beautiful blooms in my mothers at the time, apple trees. Unfortunately, we no longer have them.
Oh, yeah.
But at the time, just looking at the different fruit trees in the yard, and that made an impact in my life. And so the mindfulness walking was very big for me. And you are going to have times where you need to take a break for yourself. And so you say, well, how do I increase self-awareness? Well, for one, you can start recognizing some of the things that you need. What is working for you well? Sometimes you don't know unless you write it down. So maybe you can write like, what's working for me today? What's not working for me? What can I improve on? What is really going well in my life? And also giving yourself rewards, self-rewarding yourself. It can be like with a simple snack, a dessert, a treat. I like the desserts. I like the desserts, y'all. Ooh. And I like this tea too. Mm.
And you might say, oh, go ahead.
And also, I'm sorry, I'll finish his last point. And rewarding yourself, but giving yourself grace enough to still know that you're not perfect, but know that sometimes you are going to make mistakes, and sometimes life just happens. So being kind to yourself and giving yourself compliments, and knowing that you are going to try every day to just be better than what you was the next day, to yourself, to your others, and to others.
Okay, you might ask yourself, can self-awareness be taught? A lot of people, unfortunately, or fortunately, they already have self-awareness. But there are some people who do not have self-awareness. That's when you have to be open-minded, you all. You have to have the willingness to engage in self-reflection. Mm-hmm. You have to have the willingness to be open-minded. You have to have the willingness to be committed to the things you need and the things people tell you need. That's how you get it for the ones who don't have it. Mm-hmm. And for the ones who do have it and they want something more, that's how they get more. You really have to be aware of that. Because self-awareness, I don't know, it's just so much when it comes to self-awareness. Mm-hmm. I think we all need to just examine ourselves and just see what we really need. Mm-hmm. Because these days in time, we know things are different. We know the world is different. Then it might be your self-awareness that gets you through all what you're going through. Life, family. It happens. And if it has not happened to you, it will. It will happen. So self-awareness is a big thing. And we don't only need to just honor it on the 28th today. I think it's something we need to think about all the time. Put it in its perspective, you all.
I completely agree. And it sounds like self-awareness also needs to be considered as, I would say, self-acceptance. Mm-hmm. And realizing like, okay, self-love, self-awareness, and knowing like kind of what you were saying, going back to the beginning, knowing how you are. Mm-hmm. knowing how you are.
No one knows you better.
No one knows you better. So somebody shouldn't have to tell, well, this is how you are, because it's just like, yes, this is who I am. Own who you are, but also own yourself enough to know that, I could tighten up on that a little bit. Child, honey, I got some stories. Y'all.
I hate to keep going back to it, but just manage. Biggest thing is to manage your emotions. Just manage your emotions.
I've had to work on that throughout the years. I'm not gonna act like I've been perfect, y'all. I'm not.
And align your behaviors with your emotions. That will really get you on the right track, get you started.
Yep.
We're going on here. And you might say, how can you have more self-awareness when it comes to relationship? Relationship not only refers to relationship you might have with a significant other, it also refers to the relationship you have with friends.
Yes.
With family. You know, what kind of things you can do. Like I said, it goes back first, you need to know your values. You need to know your goals, things you want to do. You need to listen to feedback, positive feedback. And if a person's going to criticize you, I would say, please offer positive criticism. Because that way a person can receive it. You can do that. You can express your thoughts and feelings, but keep your emotions intact. We already talked about mindfulness, so I'm not gonna say anything about that.
I'm still working on that part, y'all.
Ask questions, ask questions, ask people, well, okay. Is there anything you can tell me? I know you are a positive person, and I like some things that you do. Can you tell me what you did to get you to the point that you're at now? And who knows what they might be able to tell you.
Yeah.
I know a lot of times we might say, well, they can't tell me anything. But I think we always can learn something from someone else.
Yeah.
Seek experiences. Old experiences, new experiences. You never know.
And you may learn something if you you seek the new experiences. You're gonna always grow and learn, and that's what I'm learning as a 34-year-old woman. There's something always to you have never arrived. My mother said, Sarah, you have not arrived. You're gonna have to learn something about yourself every day. Learn something about a relationship, and you're just gonna have to improve on that. And if it's anything that's old, just reflecting on it and looking at it in a positive way, in a positive spin. And mom is the best when it comes to knowing how to handle situations, I would say, under pressure. For the most part, mom will do her best to treat you right, even if you don't treat you right, girl.
Even if they don't treat
right. Even if they don't treat her right. And child, we was in McDonald's parking lot. Sorry, y'all. We working on it. And I told mom, I said, you know what, mom? I said, girl, I said, how they say, God's word, if your enemy is hungry, give us they thirst. I said, girl, I don't even want to do that. I said, I don't even want to do that. And my mom was like, well, Sierra, you can't treat people how they treat you, thinking that you're going to get back at them, because what's going to happen is you're going to get back at yourself. And the same trap that you think that you're setting up for them, that's your trap. And you're going to have a harder fall. And I'm just like, oh, no, Mom, no. But, and see, that's a part of having, the self-growth and self-reflection. Because, I'm like, ooh, But my mom is the best when it comes to that. She's right about controlling those emotions and doing the right thing. Because I would say this year, I would say the last few years, I've definitely had to learn to look past the differences that people had towards me. And I had to do the right thing even when it was hard. And in return, it ended up being the biggest blessing to me. So even though, things happened the way that they did, I'm still glad that I was able to be of service to that person. Because my mother always instills in me and my sister the importance of serving people. And that's where I got it from. I would say she's been doing that since we were kids, and even as an adult, I've learned the importance of doing that. So yes, self-awareness is not only about you, but also how you have those relationships with people, with others. How do you treat someone that maybe doesn't treat you the way that you would like to be treated? How do you treat someone that you love? How do you treat someone that maybe you're having conflict with at the time? It's so many. This conversation, it can be so long.
It can go so
It can go
far.
so long,
So
so far.
far.
It's so many different scenarios because we're people, and like my mother told me, when I was in social work school, just people are people, and that's one thing that you can depend on. They're going to change every day. It's going to be a different situation. Never expect the same thing every day. So never expect the same thing. Just be ready to go through that process and and look at it the best way that you can. Yeah. Look at it the best way that you can and do the best that you can for yourself and for others.
She's right, because you're going to go through so many life experiences, you all. Life is, people say, oh, life is not fair. It's not fair. No one never said it was going to be fair.
I was one of those people.
The thing about it is that you have to do what you know is right.
Mm-hmm.
Doing the right thing, is it always easy? No, you all. It's not easy at all doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's necessary to do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's necessary to treat people right. It's necessary to have values, morals. Those things are important. Those are the things that will sustain you. Anything else won't.
Mm-hmm.
All of that is a part of knowing who you are.
Yes.
What kind of values do you have?
Mm-hmm.
People are going to look at you. Sometimes they might be jealous. But, they might be jealous because they see something in you that they don't see in themselves. It's always best to treat people right. Conflict is going to happen. It's going to happen with family, with friends, with foes. It's going to happen on your job. But you need to ask yourself, how am I going to handle that conflict? What's going to make the difference? What's going to make me be, as they say, the bigger person?
Mm-hmm.
That's what's important. All of that is a part of your self-awareness. Because people will use and abuse you. That's going to happen. But the thing about it, you don't have to be anyone's doormat. I'm not saying to roll over, to lay down, or any of that. I'm just saying to use your self-awareness to get you through life. To get you through life in a positive way. You don't have to try to get back at people. Because my thing, what I always say, and to my family, to my children, to my extended family, to the people on my job, to my enemies, that at the end of the day, I know I have done the best I could or best I can. So when I lay my head down at night or down
when she lay that head down,
I know that I have done the best that I could do.
Yes, ma'am.
Or best I can do. So I'm not gonna worry about, and I always tell my children, don't worry about what the next person does. You worry about what you're doing. Because what you're doing, what's important. It's not what they're doing that's important. It's what you're doing. And it's very hard to convey that to people. Because everybody want to get back at everybody. But it's not about that. Say, well, hey, so you got back at Susie, Sally, Jane, or whoever. Do you feel any better? I would say you probably don't. You probably feel worse. You know why? Because you stooped to that person's level. You know, you got, as they say, you got down and dirty just like they did. Someone has to be the bigger person. I know someone said, when they go low, I go high. And I say that all the time. And you had to keep your head up. And not, you just had to keep your head up. Be encouraged. There's something out there for you. There's something better for you. You just have to be encouraged. And a lot of times you need and you will need to encourage yourself.
That was well said, Mother. Well said. Bravo. I love that. Well said. This was an amazing conversation, Mom. And
Great conversation.
yes, great conversation. And we hope that whoever is listening to this conversation will really get some great things out of this conversation, will apply it to their lives, will share with others, because it's all about personal growth and development.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Nobody is ever nobody's gonna be perfect, right? Nobody's gonna ever meet the mark of perfection, but
Never.
if we could just strive to be better
Mm-hmm.
than we was the next day. Mm-hmm. That's what matters. Be better to ourselves, be better to others around us. That's what we need to do.
Mm-hmm. Love yourself. Love yourself.
Love yourself.
Because you cannot love anyone else if you don't love yourself.
That's very true.
Seek self-love.
Yeah. Well said. Well said, Mother. Well.
Because I feel a lot of times is the reason why so many people go through so many things, and when it comes to self-aware, is because they don't love themselves. You got to love yourself, you all.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, whatever you need to do to get there, get there. Mm-hmm. Get that self-love first. Because you have to get that first before you can seek anything else. Mm-hmm. Because without loving yourself, how is it going to be possible for you to seek anything else?
Right.
How is it going to be possible for you to love someone else?
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to work. You know, you come across a lot of people that are miserable. Mm-hmm. And they are miserable trying to make you miserable.
Right.
But guess what? I always tell people, oh yeah, they're trying to make you miserable. But guess what? They're the one that's miserable. Mm-hmm. And they're mad because you're not like them. So never hold your head down. Hold your head up. Because they see something in you that they do not see in themselves. Yep. So don't even worry about it. And I tell people, when it comes to people say the nitpicking and the backbiting and all that stuff, don't worry about it. But still treat those people with love. Do what you need to do.
And sometimes it may be instances where you can still love, you can treat them with love, but love them from afar.
You can love them from afar too. Because I know sometimes you might love people and sometimes people can be something else. Mm-hmm. And it's not that you feel that you cannot be in their presence. It's because they're just so bad until they don't want you in theirs. So, hey, it's okay. It's okay. Mm-hmm. And this is, just 1 hour conversation we're going to have.
Just one.
We will say when we have our conversations, we're going to be real. We're going to be real. If you all have, or if anyone has followed Sierra and me through the years, they know that we are who we say we are.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And that's just it. Do we always see eye to eye on everything? No. Mm-mm. When Sierra got multiple sclerosis, hey, you all, a lot of things I had to re-evaluate too. So, hey, I had to seek some things, reflect on some things. The same as you. We had to come to understanding, some understanding about some things. It wasn't me that was always right. A lot of times she was right. You know why? Because she's the one that's going through this. Not me.
It was my experience.
It was her experience. I had to shut my mouth up and listen for once. And it paid off. Was it easy? No. But it was necessary and it was needed.
Yeah. And I gave my mother a very hard time. Yes, very, very snappy, disrespectful at times. And I'm just like, thank God for a forgiving mother, and thank God for a forgiving God. Because, woo, child.
But you had to.
But she was understanding. Thank God for that.
Because a lot of times, too, when it comes to things, any situation you are, I would say, you have to understand a lot of times it's not the person, it's the disease or it's the situation that are making them act the way they act. Because a lot of times, it's just her. But a lot of times it's not them. They're having problems trying to cope with what's going on with them. So we just, sometimes we just need to, cut them a little slack. Just listen.
Yep.
Be there. Be caring. We have to be caring. Show that love. Be empathetic. Don't be sympathetic. Be empathetic.
Yep.
And please don't roll over. Don't let them be their worst enemy. If you cannot help them, then try to seek someone out that maybe can. Sometimes I know a lot of times, people say, okay, a professional counselor or whatever, but a lot of times people don't have money for that. You can seek your faith. You can seek other people.
Yep.
People that, life experiences. If they're positive, if they are positive.
Yeah.
If people are not positive, no, leave them alone. Because you don't want to get in the pig pen and wallow with them.
Yeah.
Or you don't want them to bring you down when you're trying to achieve something.
I completely agree. I agree.
And sometimes while we're talking about this too, sometimes in life we have to make changes. We have to make decisions. Sometimes we have to leave some of our people or friends or foes behind. People that are not going to enrich our lives. We have to leave them behind. And it's just a part of growth. Personal growth. A lot of times we can't take people on our journeys. It's not meant for them to go. The journey is for you. Only you can go.
And sometimes people are in your life for a season.
Yes.
So understanding that when the season is over with, it's okay to transition.
Yes, it is.
And move forward. Yes.
Okay. Wasn't this nice?
This was beautiful, Mom. Oh my goodness.
I enjoyed this.
Yes, I love it.
And we hope you all got something out of this.
We do.
We really do.
Yes. And the tea was delicious. It was delicious. All right, y'all. So how are we gonna end this with our slogan? And we'll think of a name just eventually. But just let us know what you think. Of course, add comments. Let us know your thoughts about the podcast. If you have any comments in regards to self-awareness, anything that we talked about, just provide us with some feedback, and we would love to hear from you. And we hope that this conversation will truly touch your hearts and bless you and bless others around you. And finally, we're going to end it with our slogan for our business, Timely Fountain, which is enjoy life and breathe. Woo! Yay! See y'all on the...
See you next time.
Yay! Bye, y'all.